Welcome all to this week's, is it weekly? Yes, weekly for now, session of the Pallid Man on Chaotic Neutral Games. Last session we had some disturbing times in church. Let's leave it at that and see what the players thought from last time's session. Let's bring them all in. Hello.
Hello.
Hey everyone.
Good evening.
Evening to all. So yeah, we had fun times at JD's as we burned some photos, and then a phone call that had a slight interruption, but was mostly very disappointing. And then we all went to church for a nice sing along. I mean, that's pretty much how I remember it all. Yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah, that's all that happened.
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah, it was a warm reception. You know, you guys got to the Presbyterian Church in Chinatown and discovered the outcome of a group that worships in front of a painting that is cursed, and the choir were found all dead, exsanguinated, and they were nailed to makeshift crosses that had been built from the torn out floorboards, ruined pews, and other wooden furniture from the chapel. As we finished that session, Eugene had burnt the painting, the Mass crucifixion, and much to Robin's disgust, or at least against her wishes. At the same time, I think Nat was of the opinion that the painting should not be destroyed. And JD was just camera happy, snap photos of just about everything, which I think, because of complications that were rolled, I ended up saying police had confiscated the negatives you had with you, or the film that you had with you, to go and process in their own labs as part of their investigation. Eugene and Robin were looking to flee the scene before any awkward questions were asked. Is that the case?
I think it was slightly more proactive than running, but yeah.
Yeah, well, basically get.
Did the police actually? Did we have interaction with the police?
No, you went running back into the church to warn Nat and JD. So Robin ran back into the church to warn Robin and Nat and JD that the police were on the way. Saying that you needed to get out because Eugene had burned the painting, it was going to look suspicious or something. And so the two of you left the scene, whether it was run or casually stroll off into the dark streets of Chinatown, I'm not sure. But then Nat had been interviewing the pastor and maybe some of the other witnesses or other investigations around the church, leaving JD in the chapel for a while on her own. So I was thinking we might focus on that first, go to Corinne, see what she's doing with the police, and then maybe Corinne needs to go to the paper to write up her story, which I put a prop onto the Discord for the Pallid Man game, which is her story in the paper. So if anybody has seen that already, that's kind of a preempt of what's happening there. And then how you guys meet back up, where you meet back up, and what Eugene and Robin are up to in the meantime is the questions that I want to come back to Dave and Helena with once we've done a few scenes with Corinne and Spider. Does that work for you guys?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll focus first on JD in the chapel. Robin and Eugene have fled. The I don't know, whistles of flatfoot policemen approaching give you a few last moments to look around in the chapel before maybe the officials get here and take over. Is there anything you would like to be doing here in the chapel?
Are you talking to?
Sorry, at the minute Spider,
Chris.
but yes, it's effectively both of you because you both came back into the chapel to after the interview, but I was going to start with JD because whilst you were doing the interview,
Yeah.
JD would have been on her own, and we didn't really focus very much on what was happening with JD.
Yeah. So JD.
I think she was just taking pictures, just getting as much not evidence, scenes, yes,
Sure.
scenes as possible,
So,
trying to calm herself down and think just of the art and whatnot.
and if you're looking away from the end of the room where the bodies are, it's an interesting scene. There's a lot of things that you can take photos of and get contrasting, sort of jagged edges, and the debris and destruction. But also there are, there are hymnals or Bibles scattered around the room as well. So there are open books leaning against the ends of pews that have been ripped out and things like that. So there are definitely a lot of things in the room that you can get artistic or at least contrasting photos of that would make for a good part of your portfolio, for instance.
Yeah, so she'd just be doing that and then go find Nat.
Okay. So if you guys want to connect up.
Yeah, I'm currently interviewing the Chinese man. So yeah. But yeah. Yeah, sure, we can meet back up.
Okay. So let's say Nat walks in on you in the chapel as you're just taking the last photo or something. So you're crouched down in a corner, looking through your lens at some debris or something. What are you taking a photo of, JD? Give me something you're focused on.
Probably a back, like trying to get the backs of them.
So
Like
from
more
behind
of a
the
silhouetted sort of look.
Okay. So you're including the corpses in your photos. That's not just to make you feel bad. I'm just asking out of genuine
Yes.
interest of what your focus point is. Okay. So you walk in and you have to look past the dead bodies to see where JD is. You can hear the police approaching, and so you feel that it's imperative to maybe make JD more aware of what's about to happen, or at least what your plans are regarding the police.
JD?
Yeah.
The police is about to arrive.
Well, we should probably not be.
Well, I don't. They should know roughly who I am anyway, so they wouldn't be surprised at me being here. But we should probably be a bit respectful of what's going on because gestures at everything.
Oh, actually, just stand right there, and do exactly what you just did. And she then, if you do that, she'll then take a picture of you.
Yeah, a picture of
Nat.
A picture of Nat with her arms spread wide, almost crucifix like, in front of these bodies that are, crucified. Yeah, perfect. Just straight away after being told, yeah, maybe show some respect for them.
Hey, it's a good piece.
Yes, of course it is. Of course it is. I'm just raising the atmosphere a little. Okay, there's soon there's a policeman at the doors calling inside. Who's in there? Come out! Come out!
It is Natalie Lewis, and what's your full name?
JD.
Hey, I need not initials. I need full name.
JD Harvey.
That's my name, JD Harvey.
It's not
That's my name.
needs the official name.
Wait, you don't want a real name?
No, I want your real name because isn't JD short for something?
No. Well, yeah, but no one calls me that.
No, it's not whatever people call you. This is for police business.
Whilst you're talking, the pastor steps out into the foyer and starts talking to the police officer.
Yes.
And he starts to explain there are some people in the chapel. So he and the police officer come to the chapel, and the police officer just swears as he sees the scene inside.
JD immediately tries to put her camera away sneakily,
I mean,
if it's possible.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty sizable, but yeah, you know sort of took it behind you, and pushed the strap around a bit, trying to obscure it, put yourself between the camera and the police officer. But as we kind of hinted at the end of last session, the police are taking your photos, your film within this. So after this first police officer arrives, a number of others join them, and you are soon being questioned by the police for what you know. Let's start
say everything
with,
that I know. I have it all nicely written down.
Yeah, sure. Well, this is it. I mean, your discussion with the police is probably going to be quite factual and informed, and you'll be relaying what you have. Is there anything that you're holding back, Corinne?
No, I mean, she might not go off on her crazy theories, but she won't be holding back what she already knows and what it is can be observed.
Okay. So I mean, your conversation is pretty much on record already then. So it's the things that we already found out, minus the crazy mythos elements that as players you have encountered. So JD, are you, if questioned by the police, is there anything that you're going to be telling them that Corinne didn't? Is there anything you're going to hold back that Corinne did?
I mean, I don't think I know nearly as much as what they do. I'll mention who bought the painting based on being at the auction.
What painting's that?
The crucifixion one.
Okay,
and then also mention
the policeman makes a note of that crucifixion painting. Why did you mention that?
Is that one of the things that Nat brought up?
Well, this is going to be a different police officer that's talking to you whilst the other one's talking to Corinne, but
oh yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, I would say that there's a crucifixion painting and there's a bunch of people that crucified themselves. I don't know if they were inspired by it or whatever, but I will just, and they will probably nod and be like, ah, yes, random ass fucking reporter spinning a story.
Well, I'll still mention it because that's how I know of them and why I came with Nat.
Do you mention the other two at all?
No.
Very good. I'm wondering whether or not the police officer actually notices there's no painting matching what you're describing.
We didn't burn it.
Yes, you did.
I'm just bringing it up because I know that's why I know these people, not because
of course. I see. Yes. So your connection is that you're just mentioning you knew that this painting had been sold at the auction. I get what you're going with there. Then. Okay.
And I'm only here because I was going to get a pic. As with the other person, what's her name again? Oh, shoot.
No,
the person we went to, the socialite who...
Cecile.
Cecile, because they bought the other one for the bank.
Yeah. So you're just, following up with...
Getting pictures with the happy buyers. That's... Yeah. Evidently, it's not so happy now, though. I'm actually kind of upset that I even came here to begin with.
Okay, so we're going to switch over to Corinne and see what Nat's conversation looks like, and then we'll just wrap this scene and see what Dave and Helen are going to be up to. But we'll come back to you guys again before end of night. Corinne, so having heard how JD dealt with that as a player, having heard how JD just dealt with that, do you feel that there's any other elements that would have been covered by your interview with the police, or anything you might have learned from the police, anything you want to be asking them?
I mean, I can ask if they have noticed any other strange goings on in the city that we might have not noticed already. Because I will mention that you already had the suicide this morning, and I will ask if they've had anything else.
Don't know of anything that I would connect with this, but here in Chinatown, I mean, it's a rat's mess. Just we never know exactly what's going off in here. The whole district is pretty much
So this
a mystery.
Obviously, this is not normal, even for Chinatown.
It's unusual, yeah, but again, we never know. There's so much that we probably just don't even find out about. This could just be one of those things that, because you good people were here, you know, it came to our awareness.
Possibly. 1920s.
Yes, I'm a good person.
Yes.
Yeah, I can tell by the color of your skin, kind of thing.
Yes,
God.
yes, 1920s.
Oh, okay.
Ah, yes, 1920s America, great.
The views
but-
expressed in this episode may not reflect those Careful Neutral Gaming
oh, yes,
and other disclaimers of that kind.
yes. Setting. No. Thank you for coming, though. Hopefully we'll be able to find out more about it. What's your name, good sir?
I think I put it in the article, but I think it's like McNeary.
Yeah. Cool.
So what I'm thinking is, if we kind of close that down there and then put the confiscation of the evidence to bed, then Nat, you've got at least 2 stories now that you're working on, and
Yeah.
you're going to want one of those in tomorrow's paper. So you've got a pretty long night ahead of you.
Yes,
I'm not
I
going to
need
say
to
that's
go
where
to the
we
paper and be like, Churchill.
right. At the same time, that also could involve JD, because there are photos
Yes.
that she's going to want to sell.
Yeah.
So that could be
Commissions.
somewhere that you guys both go.
Yes, the paper will pay for it, not me.
Yeah.
Yes.
So again, so for Corinne's benefit, that's not like you written out of the rest of the episode, but if you guys go in that direction, we'll try and worm you back into the story before the end of the night. Is that okay?
Yes, that sounds good.
Cool. So I'm going to switch to Dave, Helen, and see what your plans are as you're leaving the scene of the, you know, if nothing else, destruction of private property, which is a crime. And we see you basically walking back to the outskirts of Chinatown through the congested streets.
Well, my
Who's kind of taking the
priority,
lead? Who is drawing the other one along with them? Is it Eugene, for instance,
my
with the
priority-
fire in his eyes?
my priority here first is to destroy the other painting we know about. But then after that, I think there's a consensus that we go and burn Warren Palmer.
Oh God, fucking Gurney, everything. I mean, I'm on board to an extent, but still.
It's fine. We burn everything in sight. then nothing can hurt us
That's right.
except the fire.
Burn the fire as well.
Okay. So I mean, you've listed
Eugene.
2 targets there.
Yeah,
One
Eugene.
of them is going to be very difficult to resolve. Sorry, Helen, please.
No, this way. Eugene. Do you
Yes.
think we're clear? Do you think we're clear? Can we slow down a little bit?
Oh, well, I mean, we can slow down a little bit, but I thought we were still in the haste to get to the next location.
Oh no,
I
we
don't
are.
want-
It's just that I just need a little, just a few steps to get my breath back a bit.
Well, let's get a taxi. We get a taxi to the bank.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then you can have a rest in the back. Yeah.
Uh,
Okay. So
yeah.
I will step into the road and go stop in front of a taxi.
Okay, so
Eugene
the
has
taxi
lost
driver
all
asks where you want
sense
to
of
go.
subtlety now.
The taxi driver asks where you want to go.
To the bank, which Dave
Okay.
doesn't remember the name of, but Eugene definitely does.
It's the Crocker First National, but the
I'm trying to think that somewhere.
it's coming up for 10 at night now. And he's like, the bank's going to be closed, dude.
That's okay because they
Man,
have
the
round
bank's
the
going to be
clock.
closed.
Yeah, but they have round the clock security. I'm not going there to withdraw money. It's absolutely fine. They'll let me in. It's fine. I work for the bank, so I know what I'm doing.
Sure,
Persuasion
man.
check.
Okay, so on the way to the bank, what are you guys up to in the back of this taxi? Mainly, I need to know what you're actually planning to do here, and I'm pretty sure you should have a cohesive story between you.
I'm not sure.
Why would we start that now?
Yeah. Like that seems extremely out of character.
I mean,
The cohesive plan
right.
is if it
Okay.
burns, burn it, isn't it?
So we need to get in. How are we going to get in?
I'm going to talk to the security. I'm just going to reason with them. I am
Right.
working for the bank, and the bank's
Yeah.
hired a private detective.
Yeah.
I'm just going to tell them we need to go in and get something which is pertinent to the case.
Yeah.
And
And-
he'll be absolutely fine with it, I'm sure.
I can remember where the painting was when we last saw it. Whether they've moved it might be another issue.
No,
But
it's it should be in the office. I don't think it will have been moved because it was supposed to be part of the decoration for that office anyway. So I don't see why it would have been moved anywhere else.
and for Helen's benefit, you basically saw it in the office as they were locking up the bank.
okay.
Yeah. They were closing the day for business because of the tragedy.
Yeah.
So unless somebody went in after they locked everything up and moved it,
Yeah.
it's probably still going to be there.
Right. So, okay. Before you burn it, can I look at it, please? Because it's really important for me to see if there's been any more changes.
I think we should check for changes, but we've got to be careful because these paintings, they can affect people, and I think we have to limit our exposure to them.
Right. I get that, but also I'm concerned that these paintings aren't the be all and end all of this situation. I'm convinced Warren is behind it in some way.
I don't know this Warren very well, but if you've got a lead on him, I say we check it out. I'm not against that at all. But
no. But what I'm saying is, let's not just let's try and be thoughtful before we just set things on fire.
I have been thoughtful. I'm now at the setting on fire stage. So
right. But what I'm saying is, for each painting or person we go to see, maybe we could reset the thinking, have a thought before we set on fire.
Okay, I'm going to think long and hard about where we burn it, because I don't want to set fire to the bank.
Good.
Right. I honestly didn't think you would be capable.
What?
Didn't you use all your special supply to burn that last painting?
Well, this is it. I think I might need to get something else to help do it, you see. So, but we need to get the painting either way.
Right. Okay. I mean, we could take it up to the roof and then burn it up there.
I'm not going on any roofs.
Well, where else are we going to go? We can't bring it out, can we?
I'm going to bring it out. Of course I'm going to bring it out.
But then they're going to know we're stealing it.
It doesn't matter. None of that matters.
Well, it sort of matters.
No, it doesn't.
I mean, it does, but okay.
Sorry. No, I don't see how it matters because, like, yeah,
Because-
sure.
Because I don't know about you and your life, but I'm 21, I'm at college, and I don't want my life wrecked by having some sort of criminal conviction for stealing, admittedly, what seems to be quite a dangerous painting and setting it on fire, but nobody's going to really understand that, and I don't want to.
Well, go home if it's not your thing, then that's fine. I understand. I'll do this on my own.
No, I can't let you do that. You'll go
dangerous.
insane.
We're the only ones that know what these paintings are doing.
And I don't disagree with that. All I'm saying is I'd rather not have a criminal record because you won't go up to the roof to burn a painting. You want to take it out through the front of the building.
The last person that went up to the roof of that bank with regard to this painting was thrown off of it, probably by the painting.
To be fair, you went up because of the painting and you weren't thrown off, were you? So,
I hadn't seen the painting at that point.
Seems pedantic, but
I
anyway,
don't think
my
it's
point
pedantic
stands.
at all, because we've
Right,
seen the painting change. I've seen a painting come alive and try to throw me off the top of a roof.
Eugene, we're here.
I've got
The taxi driver is
personal
just
evidence of paintings
parked the
trying
car
to throw me off
by
roofs.
the taxi driver has parked the car by the side of the
Poor
pavement
taxi
and
driver.
very, very quietly just sat there, not wanting to interrupt you guys.
Eugene, we're here.
Okay, right. I don't think I have any money on me.
Oh, fine. How much? How much, sir? Sorry.
$1.20.
Oh, for your trouble and apologies for our chat. We're trying out for this new
Play.
theatre production.
The King of Yellow.
Yes.
Go
Sorry,
with it, it's
apologies. Are we getting a little bit into it? Thank you so much, Eugene. You get out, Eugene.
I know how to get out of a taxi.
Right.
Just making a note of something completely unrelated, of course.
Right.
So-
Go up straight up to the security guard. Hi there, I'm Eugene Kerrigan. I'm a private detective working for the bank. I need to get into the office of
Noel Collins.
Yes, Noel Collins. Very urgent matter regarding the investigation of the bank has tasked me with performing. I appreciate that it is the middle of the night, but as you can see, we are in a hurry. If you could just let us in very quickly, you can come with us to make sure that we don't do anything other than pick up the painting that we're here to collect. Outside of that, we'll leave you alone and let you get back to your work.
I'm very sorry, but why can this not wait for the morning?
Because it's important that it be done immediately.
Can you explain why?
Of course I could explain why, my friend, but it's an urgent matter and taking the time to explain it to you would delay us even further.
I think Eugene. I think Eugene. You just need to explain that the
like
managing
crazy.
director of the bank. What did you say his name was?
Hang on. I did write it down.
Something like hardwood or woodwood. I can't remember off the top of my
Yeah.
head.
Elwood. Elwood.
No, maybe.
So proud of yourself for making notes, Dave.
Yeah,
Yes,
you had
Mr.
the notes,
Elwood. I have
Dave.
it here. It's on my second
Elwood's.
page.
Mr.
I just had to
Elwood's
turn
the
the page
First
over.
National.
That's
Oh, right,
because I
so-
made so many notes, unlike anyone else.
At least my notes, I found the name before you. Yes, the managing director, Mr. Elwood,
Elwood.
has has decided that because of incidents that happened today, this needs to be taken care of here and now tonight before the staff come in the morning. Isn't that right, Eugene?
It has to be done immediately. Yes, this is
Yes.
an urgent matter, and I'm afraid we can't be delayed any further. Can you please let us in?
I think we need to look at a role for convincing the security guard.
Absolutely.
Wow, you're going to find it difficult to beat that.
I'm not sure. let me have a look at how bad I can make this.
So you made a convincing argument, and between the two of you, he seems
Oh, we're not even
dubiously.
rolling. Is that like we just pass? Because unless we roll all ones, we
Can,
basically
sorry,
pass.
can we use a plot point to buy that one, please?
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
There you go. I'll give you mine.
I mean, literally anything other than all ones, and you are through.
Well, I'm going to make the roll. I'm going to make the roll, Mike, because it'd be interesting to see.
So for the stress, put in the D8 that you put. Helen's
okay.
paid the plot point for it.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
going to go with willpower.
Mhm.
Like blunt
You're
force.
trying to strong will this guy.
I have fast talk, so I'm putting that in. I'm going to throw drink to forget in as a hinder.
Yeah, you certainly
I've
are
been
sounding a very drunk
drinking.
person.
There's most likely I smell of whiskey. 'Cause I
Fire.
would have got some on me from burning the last one.
And smoke, burnt painting, covered
Okay,
in
Dave, I'm
crap.
giving you that.
Yeah.
I've
But
given
you
you the
Look of a
plot point.
hobo. Yeah.
The look of a hobo is indeed the best look for convincing people. I am. Can I use the clue? Because we haven't used it yet, that I found at the bank.
I've already given you an advantage with the D8 on their
I
stress.
know, I appreciate that, but I'm just going to roll as many dice as I can.
No, just get on and roll.
If
Come
you
on.
spend a plot point now,
Fine.
you can call that clue back to assist
Fine.
you now.
We'll just go with that. So yeah, okay. We'll slam a D8 on the effect. We use the 2D4 for passing.
Sure. Okay. Name dropping the boss like that gives you enough of an inroad to get into the building. He's still a bit hesitant, as you would expect, but he uses his lantern to guide you through the dark bank to the first floor, leads you to the office, and asks what, on the way up there, he's asking, so what is it you need?
We're here to pick up the painting. There's a painting that's been delivered here, which we need to bring with us to deliver.
I don't think I can allow you to take this off the premises.
I don't think that it's going to be a major issue. As you can see, when we get there, the painting itself has not been made a part of the office decor. It's still effectively been wrapped up. It's just a task that we have to perform here.
I can't. I'm sorry. You didn't make that clear that you're trying to take something off the bank's premises.
Well, we also need to take Mr. Collins's personal effects away too, so that it's not distressing for his secretary to come into in the morning. And we agreed this all with the managing director, Mr. Elwood, because it's very important to him that, like, the staff are not distressed by, what has been a very tragic and very difficult situation. And I think he's just trying to be proactive in, like, taking away those reminders. And that includes the painting, because unfortunately the secretary was aware of it and was aware of its existence. So I will happily write you a receipt that Eugene can sign.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And
we can make everything.
Really worried about this, my good man, and Eugene will pick up like the receptionist's phone and be like, we could call Mr. Elwood right now if you want, but it's getting late.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that he would appreciate being disturbed at this time of night, but if it would settle your nerves and help you to acquiesce to this request, then I'm sure it'd be worth waking him up and giving him your name.
One second, Dave.
Would you, while you're thinking about it, would you mind if I go in and just start putting some of the effects together? You obviously can watch us from the secretary's office.
So he was talking and asking these questions as you were heading up the stairs. He gets you to the office, and he's walking you into Colin's office itself. You put that ultimatum of the phone call in front of him as you pick up the secretary's phone to dial out. And he's like, okay, no, let's not disturb the manager. Let me get your details. And he asks for you to. You said you'd write like a receipt of some sort. He seems confused, maybe a bit tired, but he's buying into this. Can you
Right.
he puts his lantern down on the floor of the office. So he stood inside Noel's office, and your offer to write this receipt. You're sitting at the desk, maybe, or leaning over the desk of Noel's to get some paper and a pen. He steps over to look at the painting. The thing that you are asking him to hand over to you. He wants to inspect it and see whether or not this is a good idea.
It is still mostly sealed, though, isn't it?
The most of the brown paper has been. You guys, Dave, you and Corinne ripped the brown paper mostly away, so right. It is hanging in tatters. The light in here, it's not well illuminated. His lantern is reflecting off of some of the walls or something. So he lifts the painting, moves it around to place it again on a wall nearby, so that the light of the lantern shines.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I need to take your name and your position here. Have you got some sort of staff number here, please? I need all of this information so I can make the receipt legitimate.
So he gives you his name, Mortimer Braze.
Right. And your position?
Night guard.
Okay. Oh, can I just get you to check that I've spelt your name correctly, please? Because I understand that's very important.
He steps away from the painting to come over to you and see that you've spelled his name on the paper.
Okay, excellent. And staff number?
Or you'd have to talk to the manager for the night manager for that. Not the night manager, the security management for that. I just get my paycheck.
Okay. Oh, you don't have a number for like being okay. No, that's fine. That should be fine, right, Eugene? Should be fine. Yeah, you'll be fine.
Does Mike, does Collins have like a decanter of anything in his office?
I guess he would have like one of those flip top globes with maybe drink inside it.
I'm going to refuel.
Okay. I've also put something in the room very clearly, hopefully, to give you a hint as to something you could use to burn it with.
That's we're supposed to be in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Sorry, just in the description. He enters the room and puts a lantern down on the floor.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, fine. Sorry.
If you need something that will burn, I rather than give him a torch, because like he's not a battery operated torch, so it's like an oil lantern. That's burning in the middle of the room.
I did spot that, but
which he is using to illuminate the painting, which he has stepped away from.
Yeah, right. So this is the description of the painting. This is the artist's name.
Right. Could you read out for the people watching at home? Could you read out the description you've written down of the painting?
So I have gone with a large painting, which is, and I've given like the dimensions. And I've gone media, oil paints, scene depicted crowd of people at base of building. And then artist's name and written Ernest Bourne. And then just added partially wrapped in torn brown paper. And I pass it over and go, would you agree that that is what you're seeing there, that I don't need to be anything more explicit?
He looks at what you've written, reads it, looks back at the painting, and then nods and says, yeah, I mean, there's slightly more to it than that, but yeah, I mean, this is what yeah, I
don't really have much room left on the paper, that's all. I mean, I obviously give a more thorough description.
That's a fair reason not to write it all down, indeed.
Yeah. Okay, so let me just grab, and I go to the secretary's desk and I get some carbon paper, and then
You
I
cross
basically
the room
Mhm.
to the door out to the secretary's
Oh, okay, she's outside.
desk,
Right.
and
Yeah.
between Dave pouring a drink and you at the door, there's a loud thud clap noise, like something's fallen over somewhere behind you. Fair to say that you spin to see what that was?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like mythos. Give it some more.
The painting has fallen onto its face on the floor, and from the back of the painting, hands are pulling ghouls out of the painting and into the room.
I'm not even gonna say the words. The words don't need saying, but I'm gonna point, and I'm gonna make sure that Robin sees it. It's like,
sorry, I'm so sorry, Maurice, would you be able to is there another, do you have another, like, maybe you have a torch on you, maybe you could just help me find something?
I don't think you've ever put it down, Dave.
Well, I don't think I brought it with me, but
you didn't. No,
I didn't. But I can quite happily say there is one in the scene and go, oh, look, I've reclaimed my asset.
Right, Dave, you're pretty resilient to the mythos stuff that's going on. But let's you're seeing these things pull themselves out of the back of a painting.
Can I use my mythos exposure to help me stop the mythos exposure?
I'm afraid I'm using the mythos exposure to worsen your mythos exposure, Dave. We're looking at a 13 there.
At this point, Mike, I am not even putting it down as a willpower thing anymore. I'm actually going to put this as I think I'm going to do this as a vitality one, because it's no longer a case of I'm trying to resist it. It's a case of I'm just immune to it in my head. Well, not immune to it, but like, you know, I'm building up a resistance to it because I'm basically cheesing the system. Do I have a relevant specialty? I am literally drinking to forget, so I'm going to add that in. If you're all right with that. No, that's actually that one needs to be D6 because it's my specialty. It's the distinction which is going to help. Yep. I'm going to go with no relative asset at this point, because even though I've got stuff to destroy them, I'm only just resisting. No stress to add, I suppose. And I've got a bit. What am I looking at? 13. Ooh, it's not good.
13. That is not.
That is not good. That is not good result.
Thank you for the D8. You can have another plot point, Dave.
That's fine. This is fine. Everything's
fine. At least the counter plot points doesn't count against you now.
10 now, I take it.
Yes. Do you want to step that up for me?
Yeah, I'll do that.
We'll be doing the same for panic there for a minute. I thought I just rolled an 18. We'll be doing the same for Helen. Robin, if you can roll against a 6 in your case, a bit of an easier task for you. Also, you don't have any mythos exposure at the minute, so it's not counting that.
Okay, so basically she's using her willpower. She's using etiquette because in her head, she has to maintain this air of like politeness and civility. She's using fragile but fierce because she's hit the fierce shit now and she's fiercing out. And that's how she's rolling.
Your first reaction was to talk this over with Mortimer as well. So there's definitely that to work into your etiquette as well. You're trying to get him to do something proactive as well. But yeah, you've easily pulled yourself together.
Yeah.
I mean, what you're seeing is just something you've been warned about. Yes, by a crazy guy, but you've been warned this was coming and you were just prepared for it.
To be fair, I was warned by Nat as well, and she comes across as a lot less crazy. Yeah. She gave a thorough description of what happened. So like, I'm like, it's as Natalie said, this is not time. And like, mind on, I need to sort out what's going on with Mortimer, not Morris, Mortimer.
So the figure of the pallid ghoul that pulls out is more brown in color, as it's pulling the brown paper that's wrapped around the painting as its primary body part. So it's lifting itself almost up from, as if you would lift yourself out of a swimming pool, to sit on the edge and then crawl over to you. The brown paper that is wrapped around it in an almost mummy style flaps against the carpet of the office as it rights itself and launches at Eugene.
Can I rename my D8 Zippo lighter just as a generic fire starting kit?
I consider that, yeah. I mean, the fact
So
that it's a Zippo
represent-
lighter, it's still going to be the you're starting fires with the Zippo lighter thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't worry about
reason
renaming
for
it.
that is I don't want to just keep taking assets for lots of different things, but I want to represent the fact that Eugene is picking up like alcohol from this supply here.
Yeah.
To take with it.
Basically, when you're starting a fire, you'll start it with something. But
yeah,
I'm not going to throw the Zippo lighter as a problem for you. You're using something to ignite fire. Don't worry about renaming stuff. It's cool. You've got the Zippo lighter working for you.
Yes. So Mortimer, yes. Have you got a flashlight that you could just? I just need to try and find some carbon paper. I realize I need to make a copy so that we have one each. I think it will be over here, like maybe right over here. And she points to like the furthest corner of the office that she can see, that's still nearer the door, the exit door.
Right. So you're trying to basically get him distracted from what's happening in the room, get him out of the room.
Yeah.
In the meantime, Eugene, with his lack of subtlety, instead of finishing the drink in his hand that he has, is going to throw it at the painting, Pallid, Ghoul, whatever.
Right.
So that I can set this damn thing on fire.
Okay, so the first of the ghouls that's pulling itself out rushes at Dave. I'm taking the initiative.
Okay.
So I'm looking at a 13 with a D8 effect dice as they try to push you out through the office door.
I'm going to resist that, obviously. So I am going to use. I'm going to try and dodge out the way, basically. So I'll put Dukes up in because that seems somewhat relevant here. Am I adding in the fact that I'm trying to burn him, or is that going to come later?
That'll be your action.
So let's do a resistance here. Aha, well, I'll spend a pop point to make that happen. Yep.
Yeah, that takes you to 16. Okay, so you stand your ground, lifting the bottle of booze to your above your shoulder, ready to throw that down. I'll pass to you, Dave, to do that, and then where you go next.
Right. Well, I'm gonna throw the booze at it and try and push it back into the corner and then sort of.
Oh, you're gonna push against the ghoul.
Whatever I do, you're gonna get resistance, right?
So I've rolled on the assumption you were throwing the booze and just giving you a difficulty of 7.
I'll
but
carry
I've
on.
rolled
I'll
a 1.
just do the booze then. That's fine.
But I've given you a 1 that you can buy for a plot point. So
so I can add a D8 in. Yeah, I'll do that then. So I've got a D8 from that, and a D8 from the stress, and I'll spend the pop point on that in a second. That's looking pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you've got that. Clearly, you keep a D8 in as a result.
Well, yeah, because it's all D8s.
It's all D8s.
Thing here is I could get like, so what's the thing? 7, yeah. So is it I have to double or is it +5? I can't remember.
If you beat it by steps of 5, you get additional steps.
So like
you can step up your result.
Going to 15 beats it by more than 5, doesn't Reduce it by 8, basically.
Yeah.
You need to
7.
get it in steps of 5.
Yeah, but
So you want to get 17 to get 2 steps for a heroic success.
I'll do that. I'm going to spend a plot point and add an extra dice in, and then I'm at.
Yeah. So if you take the 9 and the 8, the 9.
Sorry, the 7.
It's not a 9. Sorry, it's a 5. Sorry, I don't know why I saw
start
9.
with, then add an extra 5, and I'm looking at 20. Yeah.
Again, you only need to get to 17, but yeah. Okay. So basically, if you get to 17, that's 2 extra steps.
Like, I can do 18 if you want, but like, I can't get to 17. Well, I can get to 17, but it doesn't matter. Does it? I'm spending the last plot point to do that, to get 2 steps ahead of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that basically steps up your D8 result to a D10, and then again to a D12.
Yeah. So I am napalming this thing.
Yeah. Basically, you land the whole bottle straight on the painting, and then flick your lighter into the mix, and it just goes up in flames. The one ghoul that's still in the room, I was going to flood the room with a few more, but the one ghoul that's within the room will continue to fight. But I will take out 2 of those dice.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll give Helen the initiative next.
Sure.
I don't know if she's going to do anything, but.
So what can Robin discern has just happened in the office that she's not in?
You spin round to see the painting had fallen over. This thing crawled its way out, rushed at Eugene, who wrestled with it, and over its shoulder dashed his bottle of booze on the painting and threw the lighter in. All this while still wrestling with this thing.
Yeah.
You've managed to keep Mortimer away from that, just as a brief interaction with him. So you've got the opportunity to take action either with Mortimer, to assist Dave, to do your own thing.
Okay. I think she sort of looks at Eugene, goes, yeah, he's probably got that. And sort of bustles into Mortimer, and then I'm going to start trying to move Mortimer out of the office into like the corridor. So basically trying to take him another step away from what's happening. And she'll just go, I'm really sorry. I really need to go to the powder room quite urgently. Would you be able to guide me the way?
He's not going to fall for that, because he's just seen a fire burst into this room. If he's coming out, it's coming out as a response to that. Yeah.
Okay. So he has seen it.
The urgency. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, whilst you kept him distracted for a moment, he's not going to miss the fact that the office has now got a fire.
Okay, fine. Okay. But Mortimer, I think
I didn't make that clear, Helen. So I'm sorry about that.
Mortimer, I think we maybe need to move back. Is there some sort of firefighting gear somewhere near on this floor? A fire axe or a water bucket or sand bucket or a blanket? Is there anything?
Yeah, I mean, you can see the absolute abject panic in his eyes.
I think we need to find something.
He's trying to be brave and get you towards the door. And he goes, yes, quickly come this way. And he's trying to get out of the banker's office.
Right. That's
Is
all.
He bringing you with him out to the secretary's office?
I will follow him out. Yes.
Okay. I am going to spend a dice from the doom pool. I'm spending the D10 to create a D10 complication. So I'll just post what I've got left. There's still 7 D8s that I've got available to me, so it's not great for you guys. But the D10 complication I'm putting in this is, in his haste, he kicks over the lantern.
It's not already on fire.
Yeah, but at the minute, it's semi-contained. It's not the entire room that's gone up, Dave.
I mean, Robin is probably completely unaware and is just so intent on busting him out, but also does want to find something to fight the fire stroke whatever is grappling Eugene at the moment. So
I totally get that. I mean, that's something that the camera may linger on, but it doesn't actually register in your awareness.
Yeah.
But there is oil leaking into the carpet and
Mhm.
approaching the burning painting in the center of the room. As
Excellent.
Dave, we presumably after Helen's action, you choose Helen. Does the monster get to go first, or does Dave get to go first?
I think Dave probably needs, Eugene needs to go first.
Okay, Dave.
I don't know yet that the whole room's going to go up.
I mean, it's not something that Eugene's aware of. It's just a attention device for the player to know that there's something going on.
I am going to grab the last ghoul and try and throw it onto the fire.
Okay. I just noticed that Literate Hermit wants everybody to remember that panicking is a free action. That is true, although free actions in this go a lot further than that.
I mean,
Okay, Dave,
technically,
you're
panicking adds to your emotional distress, but you know.
I'm going to spend one of the d8s from the Doom pool. I want the ghoul to have slightly better chance.
Well, I'm gonna put my bit too punchy in as a hindrance because I'm fighting close to a fire. But I am going to put the fire in as an asset because it is.
Okay. So I'll roll the difficulty here from the mob.
Go for it. You added more dice, so more chances of ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that working?
Yep, it's done an 8.
Yes. Okay. My screen froze for some reason. Okay. As you try to wrestle and twist it around,
I haven't rolled yet.
You spot that on the sort of midsection around its waist, there's a splash of paint that looks very familiar to you.
Way familiar.
Whilst it's made of different materials, it's brought the paint with it from Ernest's
Motherfucker
apartment.
tried to send me off the roof. Okay. Does that paint give him any stress?
I don't believe so. As no, it's a mob, so he doesn't take stress. But I don't think you left him with any stress. And this is the one that escaped the last scene.
No.
I didn't even look. I didn't know who'd rolled.
I mean, I succeed.
Yes.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. I'll be giving you 2 plot points, Dave.
Can you give me 3? Because I got one for my hindrance as well.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah, why not?
I succeed in throwing him on the fire. Wow.
Yeah, so you throw him into the fire, and his dried brown paper body crinkles as the flames engulf him. His arms flail around, and in so doing, the oil that's soaked into the carpet ignites. Suddenly, the room is filling with fire all around you, between you and the door, and you're in a room that is now an inferno.
This is where I need a fire
axe.
axe.
Dave, we've effectively dealt with the mob, but you're now into a different kind of crisis.
Yes.
So we're not really in
crisis ball, isn't it? Or a doom.
Yeah, we're not exactly in a initiative system, but your options are limited. That was your action, so we'll switch to Robin, who's trying to find something to fight fire.
Fighting fire. Sorry, that doesn't help. Is there anything in the hallway? Has Mortimer led me to something?
Mortimer continues to run, but he has led you to sand buckets or something that they've got in place.
What other rooms are around where I am?
There are a couple of other offices, but other than that, there's probably like a cleaners or storage closet somewhere on this corridor.
Are the buckets all sand buckets, or is there a water bucket too?
Spend a plot point. No, you don't have any. Dave can spend a plot point so that there's a water bucket if you'd prefer.
I'd like a sand bucket and a water bucket, please.
Sure,
Always
sure.
come to
I've put sand buckets in the scene. If you want a water
Yeah.
bucket, it's going to cost Dave a plot point.
Yeah.
I'll spend a plot point then to create a water bucket.
Okay. So you have
Thank you.
firefighting equipment that is dramatically appropriate to what you want to do
Mhm.
at D6
Okay.
as an asset.
Right. So Robin is going to go to Mortimer. Is there a fire axe?
Is there a
Mortimer?
fire? That's Mike.
That is Mike.
Mortimer's fled. Mortimer's off down the stairs. And
He's literally left. Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry,
fine.
he left you too. He pointed you in the
Hero
right direction,
material.
then he was out.
All right. Okay. So in which case, what Robin does is she takes off her coat, she plunges it into the water bucket and gets it really wet. She puts it over her arm. She grabs the sand bucket and then she runs back moves back as quickly as she can to the office.
Okay, you burst in and there are flames licking up the walls, running along the bookcases, surrounding Dave as he stands over the burning painting. Possibly he's cackling. Maybe that's just the crackling of the fire. You're not sure.
How much fire is between me and Eugene?
He is cut off from the doorway. So as you're coming in, the fire is tall, raging, and roaring hot.
So, okay, so I'm in the secretary's office. The doorway to Noel Collins's office is in front of me. He's by the painting, which I assume is like mid-room.
Mid-room sort of thing.
Yeah. All right. And between him and the doorway is fire.
There's the burning painting and more fire across the carpet and the ashes of books that are burning, floating through the air.
Okay. So what I think Robin will do is she'll drop the damp coat. She'll drop the damp coat. No, she'll put the damp coat over herself, and then she'll throw the bucket of sand from the doorway, trying to cover as much of the fire as she can towards Eugene, to see what she can effectively do.
Sure. Okay. I mean, spreading the sand across a pathway to try and clear some space. You rush towards Eugene to try and guide him out. Dave, is Eugene willing to leave at this stage with Robin?
I think I'm confident it's going to burn, and I don't want to die here. So yes.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. I'm not going to stab you guys in the back. This fire is going to burn down this painting and very possibly a good portion of the bank if you just leave it raging.
So what I'm going to do also is once I've created enough space that Eugene can actually get back reasonably safely, once he steps back towards me, I'm literally taking the wet coat off me and throwing it over him and doing a quick sort of pat down, making sure that there's nothing physically burning him. And at the same time,
there's definitely some burning.
Yeah. And at the same time, trying to basically push him out of that office so we get clear of the fire.
Okay, then knowing some of the time limits we've got today, I'm going to take a short break there.
Okay.
We'll come back in 10-15 minutes, and I'd like to switch back to Corinne and Spider for the next bit. But thank you guys. We are 2 paintings down. Let's see where we go next. And welcome back to the Pallid Man. Okay, we're going to switch from the burning bank to see what's going on at the newsagents. Not the newsagents, the newspaper. The other end of that business, where they make the news, not where they sell the news. So Nat, played by Corinne, and JD, played by Spider, are rocking up at the call bulletin to start handing in some news. So I was thinking that Nat could have a brief moment with her editor, trying to get her news stories into the paper. And we'll, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I just had an odd bing in the back of my headphones. I just wondered if maybe it dropped a signal to me. Brief scene with the editor, and then maybe I've got an idea of something that might spin out from that, but let's see how that goes. So this isn't your contact, the reporter. This is the editor, who we haven't named or come up with anybody for this. So I can just draw one of my random character name cards, and we can go with Thoreau or Tracy, which can be a bloke's name, I guess. Not that every editor has to be a man, but I think in the period that's slightly more likely.
Yes.
So maybe
in 1920s, I'm surprised that like even me and JD are getting as much as like time of day we're getting, but
yeah, most of us, was it the 20s that was mostly just secretaries?
Yeah,
so,
secretaries, yeah. I mean, it's when they just started to get a bit of workforce. It wasn't like until the 1930s, 40s with World War II that you really had women's entering. So 1920s, World War One, they kind of started, but yeah.
So there's a film that I've had in my head the whole time you've been playing this character, and that's the Hoodsucker Proxy, which if you've not seen, I think it's a good film. There may be some dispute about that. But there's a female news reporter in that, and the entire like atmosphere around her character is kind of how I'm building every encounter that Nat has.
Yeah.
Just like the complete animosity to the fact that a woman is trying to be in that workforce.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's not making you too uncomfortable, but that's kind of the realism I'm bringing to the role.
Yes, because we are in the 1920s.
Well, 30s, but still, yes.
1930s, I mean, yeah.
Thoreau Tracy, the editor of the Call Bulletin, calls you into his office. Yeah, we can't really go for TT as his. I don't think that's how people refer to him, but the editor, the chief or whatever, calls you into his office.
The editor-in-chief.
So, Lewis, I've got news from Craig. You've got stories.
Yes.
Something about the banker.
Yes, the banker, and also something completely insane I just stumbled upon now as well. Do you know the church in Chinatown?
There's a few churches in Chinatown, but what's going on?
Well, some sort of cult, I guess. Then the entire church had built, like there was part of the congregation, mainly the choir, had built crucifixes and all crucified themselves.
Oh my God. Can you get that? Can you get that in tomorrow's? Can you get that together for tomorrow's paper?
Yes, I got it here. Also, my friend JD has pictures. If we might not want to pick the most gruesome ones.
I mean, we can take a look at those, but you're leaving it a tad late for us to develop something and get it into print for tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think considering it's Chinatown, the photos aren't going to necessarily, but this story probably isn't going to be front page. We may have to bury it a little, but I want to carry it. yeah, the owner is going to be interested in having this story. I think the angle that we spin it. Get me the written write up of this, so I can get it down to typesetting. He points you out to the bullpen so you can start typing this up.
Yeah.
But the banker, we'll put something in the obits, but maybe we could get something in the financials this weekend, more of a feature.
Yeah. I start typing things up, and I keep questioning JD for like the details she caught, and
sure. Okay, I mean, you put probably a lot more than they actually end up printing in your write-up. So I got bad news for you. It's going to get edited. Well,
yes, I do know.
But
sorry, was JD in the room? Sorry, I thought
you probably wouldn't have been called into the office, but by the time she's back at her desk in the bullpit, you can be bullpit. I'm never sure. You can be like close enough to come over and chat with her. I think your reporter friend was Craig Hartig. Craig sort of sits on the end of the desk, and the three of you chat things through, and he offers to help get the payments facilitated for your photos, and sits to go through some of the pictures that you've got of the banker, so that you can start picking something for the feature they want to run in the weekend paper.
I want to push the pictures of or at least a picture of the church at the very least.
Okay.
Because it should be it will
a few minutes
it will
develop,
sell. The thing is,
sure,
it will sell. And I'm gonna try and persuade them for Nat. There we go. I'm slowly remembering names. Sorry.
We'll have you memorizing them all before the last session.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's gonna try and push the idea that Nat's story is gonna be what's gonna sell this paper as much as she can.
Okay. What I'm going to do is get you to make a roll for me, because there's a complication to you actually having any photos to show them. One, you've not actually developed them yet.
But Craig knows me.
Yeah, I mean, he knows that you can produce. You can get these turned around fast.
Yeah.
But
let me just get my. There it is. Okay. I'm ready to roll something if I have to.
Okay, so I'm giving you a difficulty of challenging, but I'm also building in the confiscation complication from last session, because you're definitely rolling against the fact that police may have taken all them. But this is your opportunity to see if you pull the fast one and pull some of those photos out of reach. So I'm rolling an 8 there for you to have photos. And I mean, I'm going to assume they've got photo development potential here at the paper for their own photographer, so you could even ask for some time. You wouldn't be able to charge them as much as you're using their development equipment, but you could get the turnaround faster, so that you can get these photos in it if you want to try and get them into the paper.
Speciality.
So what you're looking for here is to beat the 8. You want a worthy effect dice to have kept some from the police. If it's a really good one, so the dice you keep for the size. So you're rolling to beat an 8, and then you need a dice that's left over at the end that you can use to say, and this is how I managed to skip something past the police. But if you also want to get these done here on the premises, that might mean I'd keep another dice at the end as well. But let's do your dice and see if you can actually beat the target 8 first. This is to see if you've actually got any film left over from those photos of the church.
Speciality. Wait, I thought I did my speciality already. Oh well. I'm gonna use a help for my expensive hobby. No, fixate. And then camera equipment. Oh, should I use Craig? No, I'm gonna use camera equipment. Is there any stress right now? I feel like yes.
No, okay, you're rolling against the difficulty pool, so that nothing is stressed for you to add that dice in. I'm sorry.
I got an
a
8
D10.
and a 6, and I lost a dice.
Yes, I'm paying you a plot point for that. So I definitely want a
Yay.
D10 in the pool. Thank you.
Plot points.
So you did beat it and a D8 effect dice.
Yes. So yes, you've definitely got. You know that you earmarked a few of the films that you took and put those aside so the police didn't find them. When you handed over pictures, you know that the ones they got aren't the ones you were really fussed about keeping. Sort of the B-roll that you gave them. So you've definitely got some here, and but what you've got there is a D8 effect. So you add 2 of the dice together to beat your target. You keep a D8 as the effect dice, but you didn't get the D10. So tell me about what you've achieved. You talk to Craig about your photos.
I'm sorry, I got lost.
You've successfully pulled some film out of your pocket and said, yeah, I managed to slip these away from the police.
Yeah.
Now talk to Craig about that and tell him what you're going to do with that or what he should do with that.
Oh, okay. See, right, I've got these negatives here. I can develop them very quickly. I think there's one in particular that will be quite good, and honestly, if you think about it, this could get the paper to sell quite a lot. It's a huge story where a lot of it's huge. I don't see why this is trying to be covered up.
I like it. You get Craig to give you access to the on-site dark room. The setup here is, I mean, it's still the 1930s, but it's so much bigger and better equipped than your own back home. They've got the budget to actually put some better resources available to you. So you pull together some really higher quality printouts in a much shorter time. Then you bring those back for Craig and Nat to take a look through. And so you spread a few of these photos out around the desk for them to start picking for suggestions to show in the paper. The editors made it fairly clear that they're not interested in putting the pictures in this story, as they want it to be a small filler piece for one of the inner pages of the paper. But if you can find something that's a real knockout, maybe they'll change their mind. And it's when you're spreading them out across the table that one of the photos catches Nat's eye. Excuse me. It's a shot that includes a printed sheet with some Chinese characters on it. And that's in the handouts folder in the journal. And I will be adding that to the Discord momentarily for our viewers to check out there if they wish. Do you guys have access to that?
Oh, yay. Oh, we can see it. Ah, yes. Well,
this one? No.
So I've dropped it onto the dropped it just now onto the Pallid Man Triptych chat. Room on the
sorry.
Chaotic Neutral, but it's also in the handouts inside Roll20 as well. So if you have that available to look at as a player, you can have a look at that. And the reason that I'm pointing you towards it as a handout on Roll20 is that it is also copied out phonetically so that you can read the Chinese if you don't understand Chinese. But if you do understand Chinese, you can read the translation.
yes, Nat does. He speaks Chinese. Because that's something I put in. Who would have thought that would be useful? For he watches from on high, we shall be lifted up. Our lights will bring him close, leading all to join. Worship him with hearts and minds, voices call, hands that build, making a cross to bear for him, bright white stars above. His angels care to carry us to heights of our world, not high enough. We yearn to where he has trod. Lift us all to join. Okay. Is that a song?
So obviously translated from Chinese, it may not rhyme as comfortably.
No.
And I'm promising you nothing about how it actually rhymes when it's spoken in Chinese, as I am not fluent in that language any more than I am many other languages. I'm hardly even fluent in English at this exact second. So let me paste that text that we've just heard read to us to the chat for everyone here. And thank you now that Corinne has given us her rendition. There it is into the chat on the Discord channel as well. This is what the choir must have been singing as they were worshipping in front of the painting. Some of the other photos, well, the other photos are all obviously of the devastation that followed. And Craig is just like, this is brutal. I mean, I don't think we could print 9 out of 10 of these photos any day of the week. And I'm not sure about the remaining 10% either. I mean, I'll show some of this to the editor, but when he just like flicks 1, 2, 3, 4, flicks like 12 of the photos just to one side and says, there's no way we will get these, we'll lose our license or something if we put those into the paper. It's just too gruesome.
Yeah, if we can find something that is maybe a bit more vague.
I mean, and then he I mean, the one that he's got, the one that you've got of the worship sheet. I mean, it's stayed. It shows the devastation in the room, and you know, he has no idea what the words mean other than Nat reading them out. He just, you know, it sounds kind of like vaguely Christian-y worship song. So maybe we could go with that. I mean, it shows Chinese. It's, you know, it shows the devastation inside the church without showing the gore. Would you be okay if we put that one in front of the editor? See if he'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think this is a giant story that needs to be put quite high up, and you're burying her under because, well, she's she.
Well, I mean, we don't even acknowledge that she's female in print.
So we can
So
get away
I
with
doubt it's going to be
higher.
that. But yeah, I mean, there's some prejudice here. I mean, you're okay in my book, kid, but this is just the way the world works.
Well, then just use a different name. Why do you think I
Well,
go by JD? Come on.
Exactly. I mean, that's what we do
and
here.
that can be a guy as well. So
Yeah.
the point is, it's also the fact what the subject is about.
Yeah. I think most of our customers will view this from a very Caucasian centric mindset. And whilst obviously it's a terrible loss of human life, and he tries not to look at the discarded photos he's pushed to one side, it's just not going to be human interest enough for most of our readers. And that doesn't make me happy to say, but I think that's where the editor and the owner are probably going to be coming from with this. I'm going to put this photo in front of the editor, and I think we can probably pay you for it, JD, but I'm not making any promises that this story is going to become front page news.
Fine.
As distasteful as that may be in our mouths, we pan away as Nat returns to typing up more of her notes about the banker. JD and Craig step away to show photos to the editor, and we sort of fade out to black as we're approaching 10 o'clock, guys. I know, Corinne, you're going to be heading out shortly, so I just wanted to at least have given you that scene, sort of like I said, bitter as it is, to close out on. But we will pick up with you rejoining the group. Excuse me, rejoining the group with the next big developments, I hope.
Yes, and that will stay and continue, finish up her story. She says the JD can go and joy and make sure that they haven't burned the entire town down.
Eugene is just sat outside the bank watching it burn. Yes, proudest moment.
Can I just clarify? Is Eugene literally watching the bank burn?
Not from the outside.
For the benefit of the viewers at home, Dave and Helen, can you describe the exit of the bank and the departure from that area and where you go to immediately following that?
So basically, Robin is literally bundling Eugene out and sort of working from like memory and trying to get some sort of peer through the darkness, basically, is wending her way down the way she remembers coming up earlier and earlier in the day as well. And it's not really letting Eugene stop or speak or anything, just like physically pushing them in front, like going stairs, 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 don't fall, stairs, until they're out the front door. At which point, I think Robin will be like, oh God, we need the fire brigade. We need the fire marshals. We can't assume that night guard did anything. And we'll look for some way of, what is the method of getting hold of fire marshals in the 30s in San Francisco? Is it a phone call? Is it a booth, like a phone box type thing, or?
I'm comfortable with either of those being the thing. I'm pretty sure we had a phone booth of some description when Nat phoned into the paper at an early stage in the story. Whether that's contemporary with the current era, I don't know. But let's just put that into the system.
Yeah,
they've set up public phones in San Francisco. If nowhere else in the States has it, it was on trial here in San Francisco first before anybody else.
So basically, go to the nearest phone and put through to the operator and go, need fire marshals urgently at
the Crocker First National Bank.
Crocker First National Bank. At least a room. I think maybe a floor is on fire now. They need to come urgently, first floor. Don't think there's anyone in the building, but I can't be sure. And then literally hangs up before the operator can ask like questions, and then is going to go back. Well, she's not really let go of Eugene, let's face it.
He's slumped next to the payphone.
Yeah. And go like, Eugene, are you okay? Did you get burnt? Can you breathe?
I didn't. No, I'm fine. But that thing that came out of the painting, that was the same one that was on the stairs. That was the same one that came out of the wall, because it still had paint on it from when Nat splashed it. So, I mean, I hacked that to pieces. Like I used an axe and I took it to town on it, and it was gone, and yet it crawled out of the painting again. Can't kill these things. We've got to burn all the paintings. We've got to burn every picture of these things, because otherwise they're going to keep coming back.
I have no idea how many Ernest painted, though. The only person who's going to know that is Warren, and I mean,
we've got to find Warren, and we've got to know what he knows. But we've got to, the ones we know about, we've got to get rid of them. This isn't
okay. Yeah.
This isn't about someone else now. This is, every one of them's a door. Everyone's a door. We have to stop it.
No, I understand that. Do you think that's enough of a fire to deal with that painting?
I think the painting was burnt before the rest of the fire spread. I think it's fine.
Okay, so we can leave here.
We can leave here. Yeah, we should get on to. I mean, I don't know. We've got to be quick because, like, any minute now, those things could be crawling out of the next painting.
I know, but okay. Look, we need to regroup slightly. We need to try and get hold of like the others too, because we're going to need them. Like, we cannot do this by ourselves.
We should talk to JD. We burnt some of her photos, but if she's got any more, we need to know. We need to get rid of them all.
Right. How about then we head back to JD's, because she's going to have to go back surely.
Okay.
And like,
and then we'll go see Warren. We'll find out if there are any more.
First thing in the morning. We can't let him leave his house to go somewhere, because so we need to be there before oh my God, how late is it?
It was 10 o'clock when we went to the bank, so it's like,
yeah, I'm guessing it's at least,
midnight.
yeah, it's approaching midnight at the very least.
Okay, we definitely need to be at Warren's.
Midnight. I'm gonna appear.
Good night.
Good
Night, Karen.
Take
We'll
care.
catch you next time.
Yes.
I'm sure that's probably just knocked everybody off of the spots on the camera, but as long as we're,
are you on it, or I can help?
I'm sure it's okay, whatever happens. Oh, I can now see it. It's slightly distracting, but I'm sure we're all fine.
Oh, I can't help because I'm not on that one.
No.
But yeah. Very good. I like that as a GM here. I'm liking that as a plot progression. I like where that's going. So the progression I think here is regroup with JD at hers. So we'll go there. We'll do that. That's the next scene, and then from there progress towards Warren's. I think that we can fit that in tonight.
Yeah.
We won't be gaming next week, but the week after, I think could conceivably be the last session. If that works for everybody. So pressing on. Okay, so let's assume that you guys get there after JD does. JD's at home and probably making whatever preparation she can for whatever sleep she can still pull together when you arrive at the door. Bang, 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 bang.
It's not quite a loud bang. It's like a muffled bang, because she's not trying to try. No, let me do it, Eugene. You come. Just, you don't need to be so loud. It's like 2 a.m, for God's sake.
It'd be fine.
It won't be fine if you wake up the whole bloody place.
I pretend to not be in the house for a bit, or the apartment. Realize that they're not going to go away.
I like,
and then open the door.
Oh, thank God. And I just like barrel past you.
Yeah.
Okay, come right in. She is wearing her pajamas.
Right. How did things go with the police? Are we in trouble? Do they want us? Are we number one on their most wanted list? What?
No, I don't think so.
I'm just going to pause you there for a second. Cut scene. Taxi driver from earlier on phone. Cut back.
Phoned?
Yeah, so basically we just cut for a brief moment to
crazy people in my car.
That's some crazy people. They were talking about burning down the bank. I think the woman said his name was Eugene. Yes, JD.
Oh God, that's
The question was, are Robin and Eugene wanted by the police? And as far as you're concerned, the answer is
no.
Oh, well, that's good. Right. So we went to the bank and we managed to get up to see the painting. there was a bit of an obstructive night guard, but we were dealing with that. And then the painting fell over, and well, you know how Nat described the ghouls climbing out of the painting earlier at my brother's place. Same thing happened from the back of this painting. It was like a ghoul. It was like, it looked like it was wrapped in the brown paper that the painting was in, and like it was fighting Eugene, and Eugene was amazing, like fought back, and I mean, set fire to it, obviously, because that's what we intended. It may have started a bit more of a fire than we possibly intended, but I've called the fire marshals. There might be some bad damage at the bank. We think the painting's burnt, though, definitely burnt, and I think the ghoul is dealt with too, right, Eugene?
That's twice now I've beat it. It knows me, and it'll see me coming, and now it knows its numbers up.
Right.
Right. I mean,
if he had an axe on me right now, I'd be swinging it into his mouth.
To be fair, he might have inhaled quite a lot of smoke. So I wouldn't necessarily quite, like take
enough
everything.
Of this.
That's at face value.
I know I sound crazy. I know that.
Sound it, yeah.
I'm not stupid. But you didn't believe me, and now you've seen it.
Yes,
so it might be time to start believing me, because I have
insane.
I'm not crazy.
You sound a little bit. Never mind. I agree. You're not crazy.
How about we breathe? I'll go get some ice cream for everyone.
No, actually, it's more important. Have you got photos from either the painting earlier or any of the paintings? Have you got any of the photos left or negatives? Because it seems that
a lot of negatives were actually confiscated, and I may have given the rest of them to the journalists, the newspaper.
Sorry. Just that little giggle there was perfect.
Sorry.
I mean, it's not funny, JD. They could all be. What did you call it? Doorways? No.
Yeah, they're like a way to wherever these things come from. They can come out and they can attack you, and you can't kill them. All you can do is put them back inside, so they come out a different door somewhere else. Because that's twice I fought it, twice I beat it, and I'm sure it's still there. I know I'm going to see it again.
So you're telling me not only have I created a shit ton of doors, sorry, I apologize.
Seems appropriate for this circumstance.
I've just given them a way to be mass produced. I mean, to be fair, sounds like they're not going to use any other images.
Right.
But I don't have them.
We need to get those ones back from the paper. That's probably the biggest leak there. If they put one of those into print,
I mean,
then it is all over.
They did take one that they would consider.
What was that one?
I don't think it had a picture of the picture.
To be fair, they did not take any of the pictures of the painting. The ones that you had were of the crucified people. These are the ones that you showed them because they were looking for stuff to relate to the story. Yeah. It was the crucified people, and it was the sort of like destruction within the church that you gave over to Craig to look at. So unless you specify to me now, Spider, that JD included photos of the painting, because you only had that one shot of that painting. Unless you specify now that's what you did, I'm quite happy to calm everybody down and not give you another place you've got to go just now.
I mean,
JD wouldn't have printed the gruesome ones because but she would have definitely taken the damage, an outside shot, And probably at least one with where the painting was.
Of the
it
empty
wasn't
space on the
too-
wall.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you
No,
reassure them.
where did we find the painting again? Sorry.
So David already got by the time you got into the room to take photos, David had already taken the painting down and was walking out with it.
Yeah.
So the
Probably would
only
have
photo
taken
you have of that, the only photo you had of that was one that you took effectively as part of your resisting the mythos roll, which is where I got my dice for the complication from.
And
So
the only other time I would have was between the argument between Eugene and Robin. Yeah, Robin.
sure, they were outside doing that. I'm not sure you actually followed them outside. I'm not trying to get you out of it. If you want there to be an additional painting out there that you want the newspaper to have, then
No,
yeah, by all
this
means,
one-
you gave them one. But if you're reaching for the same thing I'm reaching for, and you don't want Craig to have a copy of the church painting, then just say so. He doesn't have it.
Craig wouldn't, but the
Okay.
police officers would have a picture of
Sure.
Eugene and Robin fighting over a
So-
painting.
Okay, so that negative, that film is with the police.
Yeah.
It's not with the newspapers.
And the police would have been the only ones that had negatives of the Mythos roll painting as well.
I mean,
Sure.
maybe if they don't look at it, they'll be okay, because maybe you need to like look at it to trigger the ghouls or something to come out, or I just don't know. But what I am convinced of is that Warren knows more than he's letting on. There is no way we cannot talk to Warren. We need to be sure how many paintings my brother did while he was in this state, and why was he in this state, and how is he. It has to be Warren. Has to be Warren. I can't see it could be anyone else. And Warren is the one who sold them all.
I'm just gonna check something real quick. And she quickly runs into a photo in her dark room. Jeez.
Mhm.
I can't even remember names of
Spider,
that.
what do you want to know? What do you want to know, JD?
I want to make sure that there's no weird ghouls in.
So you went into a dark room all on your own,
Yes.
just to check that.
Yeah. It's very important that her pictures are okay.
What have you got in the way of mythos stress at the minute?
Nothing.
Nothing at all. I know you had some for a while, but I guess you did buy it off at the end of the last session.
I had a teeny tiny bit.
Yeah. Okay, so you enter the dark room, and yes, it's not full of ghouls just standing there in the corner going, "Oh, door's open." So they're not in there. They're not in there waiting for you by any means. So I mean, if you're just literally poking your head in and looking around, there's nothing for you to worry about.
She's gonna quickly grab all the negatives that she hid from Eugene. That may or may not have involved other paintings.
Okay, so you come back out with rolls of film or whatever, and plates, and some of the other photos that you hadn't put in front of him before. Is this everything you've got? This is me asking.
Yeah.
He might ask the same question in a minute, but let's set the facts. Is this literally everything you've got?
This would be everything. She feels
Okay,
very, very terrible right now.
Okay. So you come in and put that all down on your kitchen table in front of them.
Yes.
Continue scene.
So I may have kept a few from you to prevent you from burning them.
Have you got one of the one that Noel Collins had, the one of the man on the ledge?
Let me have a look. Oh yeah, this is one of the. Yeah, this one. It should have a. It was one of the better pictures.
All right, let me just look. And so Robin is going to, is it a negative or is it a photograph?
This one would be a negative, but she will bring out the portfolio that would have had the picture as well.
So you got both?
Yeah, she never gave the portfolio.
Okay, so actually, what Robin's going to be like, hold the negative up to the light and like sort of squint at it. And have you got something that can like magnify? Have you got like a magnifying glass or something?
Oh, do you just want the picture instead?
No, I want to look at the negative because I think the negative is like maybe might reflect more of what's going on in that painting at that point.
Let me just go grab one. And she quickly runs into the black room and runs back out with a not magnifying glass, but you know what I'm talking about.
The eye,
like
a loupe type thing. Yeah.
Thank you.
So she's going to look at it, and she is definitely focusing hard on the painting and looking to see how many pale men or figures, or even is there a pale figure and like a brownish figure wrapped in paper type thing. Like she wants to know now, is that showing anything different?
Okay, I'm going to give you that information, but can you make a roll against the mythos influence of the painting?
Yeah.
So I'm going to assume also for clarity, so it's a bit easier to make out between the two. You're doing comparisons with this and the photo. So you're looking at all of that. So while you're putting that dice pool together, I'll give you a little bit of information. I mean, it's difficult to really make out that difference in detail on the negatives, because what you're effectively finding is that any light face is now a dark face on the negative. And so you don't really have a clarity of which ones are excessively darkened because of the fact that they are of light people or not. But when you make the comparison between this and the fully developed picture, it's clear and you can easily track that the entire crowd is filled with these pallid faces, these albino faces, and that the crowd is maybe twice the size it was when you first saw the painting, and every face in the crowd is one of these hobos.
I mean, I don't know this is happening, but click, 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 click.
Oh, I think I fucked up something.
Did
I? No, I did roll. Okay.
You've rolled, but that hasn't beaten the target number. So you'll be getting...
1 sec. Get rid of that. Okay. So what have I got? I've got 10 and it was 14. Can I buy a dice?
I mean, even if you add the additional dice, it still won't, even if you add the additional dice in, which I don't think you can, you still will not, you won't get higher than 14. So you'll still have...
Okay.
So I'm putting that mythos for you now. So yeah, you feel that cold terror sinking inside to the pit of your stomach as you realize that now the ghouls that were in the church painting are also showing up in this one. And it is evident on the negative, which is I think that was the key item of information you were looking for. So I would confirm that the negative shows the same as the photo as well.
So yeah, they're both changed, the negative and the photograph. There's like a whole crowd. It's like the whole crowd has swollen in number, and there's so many pale faces. Okay, we need Eugene, and try not to burn down this place, will you? Maybe out on the fire escape.
I gather up all the stuff which Spider's brought out, because it needs to all die. Take it out to the fire escape like we did before, and I'll start burning it.
Give me a more detailed description of you doing that, Dave.
Well, because these are the photos and negatives, they should burn easier than the painting, even if he has to hold the lighter up to the negative and watch it actually melt through the film. He's going through every piece to make sure it's ash. Time, whatever needs to be done.
JD turns away.
This I can imagine this is quite disturbing for you to watch. Dave, can you give me a
Ooh.
14 to resist further influence? Bearing in mind you're at a D10 on the
Yeah.
mythos stress.
But you've already rolled that, haven't you?
Yeah, I've included that in, but as in you, if you fail this, you go to 12. The next one will push you over the edge.
Okay. Well, I will make it so that I don't lose then. It's as simple as that.
Good luck with that.
Ready for
The
14.
images on the negatives are difficult for you to convert back into the things that you feel. So they're easy for you to melt and dispose of. The distortion of that material as it's melting in your hands, and you sort of like shake it and discard it, drips away and stains the metal railing of the floor beneath you. But the photos take longer.
Well, I'll
plot
go
points.
to 16 with a plot point and keep the D8 for use.
I mean, you're not looking for an effect, I see. You're
No,
just
but-
resisting. So you succeed in not going a little more crazy with this. The photo which has the largest representation of the ledge painting, the edges burn, and as the flames lap over the white outer frame of the photo and start to eat towards the center, the crowd inside the painting, inside the photo, inside the white frame, starts to animate. And this time you're certain that's happening. Before, when you painted and when you burnt the church painting, you couldn't tell if it was the flames creating an illusion. The figures inside the painting crawl out the back of the painting into the photo as it starts to burn. And then at the far edge of the frame, away from where the flames are working their way across the painting, the fingers of these ghouls reach out to claw and pull themselves out of the photo.
Deliver a punch to its head as it pokes it out.
I mean, you're holding a two-dimensional window into a world that something is clawing its way out of into 3 dimensions. Its hand reaches out, but the flames lap up.
Holding painting in my hand.
Basically punching a piece of paper. Because the flames are lapping their way across the painting, they engulf the picture. The painting inside the photo burns, then it eats its way across until it's consumed what remains of the thing inside. The fingers of the hand that were trying to get out drop onto the metal grating and just twitch for a moment and then lie there still and dead, as the last of the paintings, the last of the photos in your hand is burnt to fluttering ashes that fly away on the breeze.
I don't believe they're dead from this. I think this is just the closing of the door. So Eugene is going to stare intently into the flames, and he's just going to whisper to the ghouls inside, "I'm coming for you. I am the fire."
As we pan away,
it's insane at this point.
as we pan away from that shot, the larger of the fingers of the hand that rests at your feet unravels as acetate sheets just flow out into just like a nest of burnt tatters of photos. But for the viewer watching this TV show of what happens, it's clear that this thing was made out of photoacetate, not brown paper, not wallpaper and plaster. Just beyond the balcony, as we pan away from there, we can see the look on JD's face. Spider, how's JD faring?
She's mourning the loss. Yes, I think that's the best way to explain
Sure.
Actually,
Yeah.
she's had to remove paintings before. not painting, sorry,
Photos, but yeah.
photos. Ones that she's been less keen on. She's probably going to have to go through the rest or whatever was left of the church photos she took. Probably going to remove a lot of those as well, because you're not going to get the best shot on the first go. But these ones are all the good ones. These ones are all the ones that she's already gone through and was like, no, these should be developed. So,
and I need to clarify, you're talking about the film from today at the church?
no, the ones that I took from the dark room.
Right. Okay.
Because there's some she wouldn't have been able to develop in the time because, but the ones that were there were just kind of.
Robin sort of looking at JD, but I think more concerned. She sort of caught what Eugene said to the photo and is now more concerned about Eugene than she was before, which she was quite concerned before. But she's going to keep silent for now. It's noted.
Okay. Are the three of you, well, I mean, JD's already at home, are the three of you going your separate ways for a night's rest? What's the plan?
JD, do you mind if, like, we need to go and see Warren. We need to know how many pictures my brother made. We need to, there's so much we need to know. Do you mind if, like, I wash up and maybe get a couple of hours kip on your sofa? And do you mind if Eugene stays as well? Because I really don't want him going out there by himself. Honestly, it's just going to be till before dawn, so I guess maybe 2 hours or so.
I'm not too keen on the pyromaniac.
Yeah,
but I
no.
understand.
Yeah.
There's nothing in here I want to burn.
Right,
she looks at him.
That's
in
good
a
to
very
know.
pointed matter.
Why you look a little bit shambolic. Why don't you go and, like, wash up and maybe we try and get a couple of hours sleep before we need to talk to Warren. We've got much to do tomorrow. I think you're going to need a bit of sleep.
Aye, yeah, sounds a good idea.
You go wash first. I'll make up a bed for us. I mean, 2 separate beds.
Eugene goes and basically splashes some water on his face and maybe has a slight moment talking to himself in the mirror. Just pep talk. Nothing wrong with that. And then comes back through. I'm fine. I'm fine now.
I've put you here. You try and get some sleep. I'm just going to wash up and then, and JD, maybe you get some sleep too. I know you meant to probably develop stuff, but I think tomorrow's going to be a full-on day.
JD's already walking to her room.
Okay.
So, but let's close the scene there. Anybody that has plot points and wishes to spend them to reduce stress may.
I am going to reduce my mythos exposure back down to a D8, just so that
you can.
So just so I can see through the last episode.
I think also just like having a couple of hours sleep is just enough to just take that edge off of it.
I mean, sorry. Go.
No, you carry on and I can.
I was going to say, in Call of Cthulhu, when playing that game, if you destroy a mythos creature or other mythos influence, you actually regain sanity. So it's not unreasonable to think that this is a good point at which, you know, you're ahead of the game, sort of thing. You're turning a corner. Clearly, things are on the mend and things are improving. You've got a clear plan ahead of you. Obviously, everything is on the mend. We're all good. So it's a good time for Dave to spend that plot point and let Eugene feel like he's a little bit more control over the universe.
I think if he hadn't done that, then it would have been that the scene would have been that everybody would have been overhearing the fact that he's probably having a conversation with him in the bathroom, and then it would cut to the actual conversation with him, and he'd like close the cabinet, and like as he walked away, there's just a pallid man in the mirror looking back at him, like that's who he's had the conversation with. But no.
So I've checked out the Twitch chat, and we've had some brilliant ideas for where else we could add extra scenes in. We're not that pressed for time, but I'm going to ignore most of that because that's brilliant, and I'd love to include it in maybe the next time I run this campaign. But I'm not going to extend out this session or the next one with how many other art galleries have this painting on file because they showed it before it was auctioned. Brilliant idea.
I see the end of this being basically Eugene with an axe over his shoulder and a bottle of whiskey in his other hand, marching off to find these other things.
Spoilers.
He's handed the whole detective agency over to JD because she needs a new career because her photos have been sending people insane.
There have been worse outcomes than that. So you guys get a few hours sleep, or at least something approaching sleep. You're not much refreshed when you're roused from your sleep by whatever passes for the alarm clock you've put beside you.
I think Robin has been sleeping quite sort of very on and off, like, nodding off, waking up, checking Eugene's still there, looking at see what sort of time of day it is, drifting off, wake, like that whole sort of vigilant but absolutely shattered with it.
So
Friday starts with
probably mumbling in his seat going, but if I'm thinking about them, is that a door? It's in my head. I'm thinking about them. They're going to come out of my dreams. So they go,
Eugene, time to get up. We need to go talk to Warren. Come on.
So the Friday starts with all four of you absolutely shattered, but Nat's off somewhere at the newspaper, still, pushing the story. Is JD coming with you guys to Warren's?
Wait, we're going to go Warren's. JD, do you want to join us, or do you have other plans? I mean, do you need to go to the newspaper? What? I don't know. Oh God.
I can come with. I feel like you might need some help with our friend over here. He seems a bit fire happy still.
Oh, Eugene, right, okay, yes, actually, good point. Right, come on then, Eugene. Oh, come on, Eugene. Right, okay, you look like you've gone back to sleep.
I'll never sleep again.
I mean, you did last night, so I think that's a little bit of an exaggeration. Right, let's get going. I definitely don't want him to get out before we can catch him.
Sure. Okay.
Why are we going after this guy again? It seems
because he knows everything. He knows about my brother. He knows about the paintings, and he's gonna know stuff. We need to find that out.
Behind this whole thing,
possibly.
Maybe.
Right. Not sure.
JD is now concerned about both Eugene and Robin.
But JD, bring your camera.
Always.
Just don't take any photos.
Well, no, she can take photos of people, just not of paintings, or
not of the ghouls.
No. Yeah. Right.
Maybe not of this one.
Yeah. Let's just go. Let's just go, Eugene. Come on.
What if I want to go down?
No. Let's just go.
Okay.
Come on.
So this conversation continues as you're traveling across town to find Warren's, or across the district to find Warren's. So you're the three of you stood outside Warren's low-slung building. It's fairly opulent and nice looking, trendy for the time, heavily into the Art Deco or brutalism look maybe. And it looks like nobody's awake. It's early dusk. The sun's hardly even crossed the horizon. And
is there a back door? Did you see a back door?
Back door?
Would you like to go and check whether there's a back door?
I can go and check if there's a back door. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, great.
Okay, I'll go check if there's a back door.
JD, do you want to join him? I'm a bit worried about letting him go by himself. I'm going to wake the household. Just make sure he doesn't go out the back. I mean, Warren, not you. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Is there a back door?
Let's come back to you guys at the back there in a moment. Robin is approaching the front of the house.
Knock, knock, and then real thumping.
Okay, so there's no answer at first. And even the first round of heavy banging doesn't seem to make anything happen inside the building. The next round of knocks, and you see a brief movement of a curtain above your head. And then
basically what I'm going to do, so like, I'm just going to step forward into the doorway more so they can't get a clear look of who's at the front door.
Another round of heavy banging on the door, and you can start to hear movement inside, and somebody seems to be coming down to see you. Around the back of the house, JD and Eugene do find a back door, like a veranda sort of patio area. The garden's fairly nice. I mean, it's not extensive, but it's a good sitting area. You can imagine, people socializing out there.
So, like, could we? I'm going to try the door.
It doesn't appear to have been locked.
Okay, I'll open it. I'll go inside.
Okay, you're in a small sort of conservatory kind of den room, and there are shelves of art books and things, and a few small, I don't know, there's like a small painting of a mantelpiece. No fire hearth or anything, but just like shelves and stuff. There's it's a relaxed sort of room.
Painting of a mantelpiece or painting over?
No, over. Sorry.
Well,
I'm just trying to describe it.
Obviously, immediately draws my attention.
Sure.
Let's look at this
it's a nondescript landscape.
Are there any pallid men in it?
Yeah, I don't need this.
I mean, you would have to really push the limits of what this painting is about for you to even recognize there are any people in it at all. It is literally like a lake, a woodland, a cloudy sky. There are no people in the picture.
Who signed this?
You know what, Eugene? We should just be safe than sorry.
I think I like your thinking. It's like my thinking.
I feel like she's just leading you astray. But as Eugene starts to flick his lighter, we go back to the front where you see a robed figure sort of moving towards the door through the frosted glass. The door opens. Sorry?
Evil wizard.
The door, no, God, no. Okay, I can see what I just said. The door opens and there's a guy stood in his bedroom. He's just in like a dressing room.
I mean, cultists wear robes too,
Yeah, I get that now. I made a mistake. It's a dressing gown. Warren stood there in a heavy dressing gown, but yes, has a hood. Could possibly be used for secret meetings, but it's a dressing.
The first thing Robin is doing is
Robin. What?
She steps forward and puts her foot
I don't know.
in the door frame.
God.
Well, you did not want to talk over the phone, so here I am.
This is an incredible invasion of privacy. What are you doing here?
I've come to get the answers that you would not give me over the phone because apparently that was inappropriate. So I suggest you let me in and we talk about this.
I mean, he lets the door open and just like shaking his head allows you into the building, but he stands at the door looking around to see if anybody sees you coming in for propriety's sake, maybe, and then closes the door behind you as you step inside.
Right, where are we sitting?
Just out with it, Robin. What have you come here for? Do you want the money?
You know what I've come here for. It's not about money. What the hell did you do to my brother?
I'm not going to talk about that.
Well, why not?
Because you're his sister, yes, but I don't think mine and no.
Look, I know you were lovers. It was obvious. It's been obvious all along. I know he was going to tell me at some point. So what have you got him
I wouldn't go as far
to?
as saying lovers, but yes, we were partners.
Yes.
What do you want to make of that?
I don't want to make anything of it. I want to know what happened to my brother and why you didn't look out for him. And what did you have him do?
What are you talking about? What did I have him do?
Well, did he just paint those paintings of his own volition? Or did you get commissions? What happened?
I mean, he got some inspiration to paint them.
From where did he get the inspiration, Warren? From where?
He did all kinds of research into things.
Warren?
Yes.
Right. I know this is very unladylike, and for that I apologise. Please do not talk such bullcrap to me. You know more than you're letting on. First of all, you lied to me about how he died. And yes, it was a traumatic death, but I had every right to know. What else have you lied to me about? Because I do not believe that his research caused him to create those paintings of his own will. So what ideas has he had put in his head and why? And don't forget, I know your influence over him. I know he wouldn't have done it without your approval.
Robin, I didn't approve of everything that he did, but this was his final set of paintings. These 3 pictures were the last things he painted.
And what were the things he painted before? When did he change style?
He was doing sketches and preliminary tests for these 3 subjects that he had from what he was reading and what he'd looked into and some of the people he's been socializing with.
Right.
But
for
these
how
were
long? How long? Because this isn't the style that is on the market wall, is it? This isn't Cubism. This is completely different. When?
This is correct.
When did he change style? It's important. I know when it happened.
Ernest's interest strayed into many different fields over a long period. He developed this style based on the things he'd been reading and the people he's been meeting with.
From when?
This all happened over the last maybe 7 months.
Right. So the paintings prior to 7 months ago were more in his old style, right?
Yes, yes.
They weren't about people as such. They were more that Cubism style.
Yeah, he did Cubist portraits of a few influential people. Yes, nothing like this. Nothing with this kind of impact.
Who was he socializing with that gave him these ideas?
Our relationship had been on the rocks for a while. I don't know all the people he was with. Obviously, when we were at functions together, I was there as his agent, and he was looking into artists from different cultures. He had some reading that he was doing from the library. I don't know the full details of that.
You know someone he was talking to and spending time with, though, don't you?
I honestly couldn't tell you where he got all of this from.
That wasn't my question, Warren. Who was he socializing with? You know who he was.
Oh, I mean,
you may not have known all of them.
The other residents at the Monkey House, generally, it was the crowd that he was with. I mean, I know some of them, but I couldn't tell you who was the biggest of influences. But primarily it was that crowd.
But was there anyone outside of the monkey house that he was socializing with? Someone who seemed more unusual, out of place for the usual monkey house crowd?
Let's take this to some dice, as I think the role play is good, but you're going to be pushing for a specific here.
I'm pushing for many specifics.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
So a quick look. That helps. That's a. It's only a D6. Oh well, that's fair. And
I think I would like to use Robin's intellect at this point, if I may.
Sure.
I think she's, I wouldn't say thinking clearly, but she's had time to think carefully how she wants to deal with Warren. She's got an idea of what he's like. Yeah.
Okay, so there we have
8,
the dice pool you're facing,
which is a total of 12.
I'm gonna keep the 3 as well. So the Doom pool is going to spend a D8 to get that 3 in the mix. So
that's 15. Yeah.
So spend a D8. The Doom pool now looks like that. And
can I use, I mean, I've got generic art history, but she knows her brother's style.
Yeah,
and she's aware of some of the people at the monkey house, at least, you know, he would have shared in letters type stuff. So I feel that's sort of relevant. And oh God, she's looking to blame someone. And then ironically, may I use my empathy too? Because although I am putting Warren on the spot, I don't think she's completely, like, I think she sort of in the back of her head recognizes that he has also been bereaved of her brother. And obviously from what he said, there's been a lot more going on that she's been unaware of. And she has, I don't think she has sympathy for him, but I think she's like, she definitely has empathy of the feelings that he's got.
You're not willing to walk on eggshells for Warren, but you're at least not going to completely crush his emotions.
Yeah. And then
I've given you a plot point for bringing that in because I think that's important.
Okay. Note. Thank you. And then I'm using my mythos exposure as my stress. Yeah.
So no, your opponent gets to use your stress.
Oh, okay.
But I will give you a D6 on him as he is stressed.
Okay. So he gets a D6. All right. And yeah, I think, let me roll and see where we're at.
Okay, I'm giving you another plot point for the 6 that you rolled a 1 on.
Oh, awesome. So you rolled what, 15?
I kept to 15.
So at the moment, the best I can do is 12. Can I use a plot point to buy an extra dice, please?
Yes, I mean, you can keep an extra one of your dice in that roll.
All right, so I'll use the 5, the 5, and the 6 on the D6 as my roll, and then I will use the D10 as my asset, I guess.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
So, I mean, we didn't specifically go into the full details of what it was you were chasing for, but you have put in your action description, such information from Warren. So the berating interrogation with him passes back and forth between the two of you, and you're starting to see cracks in his story.
Mm.
I mean, your suspicions that he knows more are confirmed as he struggles to maintain a cohesive narrative to what he's saying.
Mm.
I'm not sure how I can turn that as a GM, or how I can turn that into something concrete to give you, but you have a D10 asset there that you've achieved in getting this information out of one.
I think
so.
Sorry,
go ahead.
I was going to say. So I think role play wise, she persists, and as she sees she's wearing him down, I think, like I say, that sort of empathy comes a bit more to the fore, and go, I understand you lost someone you loved too, but I don't think Ernest was the same person you loved in those last 7 months. I think something changed him. I think somebody changed him. And for the love that you have for him, for the love of the memories that he was, that vibrant man, that creative genius, that, beautiful soul. Don't think of the last 7 months. Think of the time before that, when he truly was yours and you were his. And just tell me who. There was someone, wasn't there? Who was it?
So Warren turns away from you and the camera for a brief moment as these words seem to really sink into him. And then we're going to cut to Dave and to Eugene and JD for a second.
Yeah.
So there's a float, and just as we leave, I'll just rules for a minute. There's a floating D8 effect dice. D10 effect dice that you have not assigned to anything yet. Hold that.
Yeah.
As it may be something you can use. Eugene and JD can hear the loud discussion going on somewhere towards the front of the house as they continue to search through the sort of conservatory room that you're in. You were looking at burning the painting, but do you want to burn one painting now and potentially trigger something that might get you caught, or do you want to try and gather more things together to burn in one place?
I mean, I think that everything suspicious needs to burn, and Eugene suspects a lot of things. So, what are you thinking, JD?
JD's gonna help, but also not at the same time. At this point, she's getting very good at sneakily removing artwork from Eugene's presence.
I mean, Eugene doesn't think this particular painting is a problem, but he is definitely going to burn it anyway. Anything else that looks suspicious? Yeah,
well,
he'll
what I'm
take
looking
it
at
down,
here, then,
and he will throw it outside into the yard, and he will start looking around for other things. But again,
so, okay,
he's not being subtle about any of this. The guy comes and interferes.
So I'm seeing it then. Yeah. So there's a sort of montage scene as you guys move through the house, somewhat stealthily, somewhat not stealthily, whatever, building a pile of stuff as you move things through the back and out into the garden. And from what I'm hearing, this montage will include a few shots where JD is secretly not throwing stuff onto the fire or onto the growing pile that will become a pyre. So give me a few of those guys, and I'll tweak them if needed, but give me some montage shots that lead to this bonfire being built. Dave.
There's probably a scene where Eugene finds a family portrait where someone looks particularly ill in it, and he's like he has a moment of like, better not risk it, and puts it on.
Yeah, puts it on the file. What's JD's next shot as we cut to her?
She picks up like a sculpture, just a random thing that's lying about, and just starts walking out to the pyre. And as she goes to chuck it on, and Eugene's heading back in, she quickly takes said portrait and puts it in a different pile she's making in a bush somewhere near the house, so that it doesn't get added to the fire.
Eugene's going to look at the sculpture and just have a moment and turn to JD and go, do you think they can come out of sculptures? And
I don't know. It's
an existential horror visibly going over his face now. It's another concept starts to take hold, and he's like,
But for copyright reasons of the Blinking Angels, we will not be straying into that direction. So the collection of these sorts of scenes as papers, sketches, art, whatever gets piled up, and then the two of you find Warren's bedroom, and you step into that room that he must have only momentarily left in his robe. And you're searching through his personal belongings when, let's see, backtrack mentally for a second. It has to be Eugene that walks around the bed and to the other side, where it looks like nobody was sleeping on that side of the bed. So Warren would have got out of the side closest to the door, sort of thing. And you've walked around the large master bed, and on the far side is a familiar looking crate. You only saw it momentarily before, but even in your current adult state, your detective brain makes the right connections. This crate was in Eugene's room when you were last there.
That's why I even want to open it. I think I'm just going to drag it.
I mean, it's like just like a fruit crate, like a greengrocer's crate. So it's
Right,
okay. open topped. It's got art supplies, sketchbooks, those sorts of things in there.
This is the same one that was in his apartment.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find this guy. This guy knows more than he's letting on. And I don't know what point in the conversation Robin is in at this point. Does not matter. Does this guy have a fireplace?
I mean, possibly in the room that he's in with Robin. What are you doing? Is the crate staying there? Is it coming with you?
I'm gonna bring the crate with. If it's just a greengrocer's crate, I'm carrying it with me, and I'm gonna.
You lift the crate up, and obviously now that you're closer to it, there are sketchbooks, there are sheafs of paper and canvas. There are a couple of books in there. They look like library books, and other bits and pieces as well.
I'm not reading through any of it right now. I'm just gonna.
What happened to the open-eyed, wonder-filled Dave that we started this campaign with, where Dave said, every book you get, I'll read.
Yeah, no, but unfortunately, you changed the parameters on us, and it became about art. No. We're past that point now. We're past the point of going in and reading everything. I'm gonna bring everything in. I don't know where they are. I'll be like.
You've heard where they are. You've deliberately avoided the room.
Robin, where are you?
You've deliberately avoided the room that they're in. So you're shouting out, Robin, where are you? And we switch back to Robin. In the distance, you hear the voice of Eugene, just as Warren turns his face away from you. Just as you felt that you were connecting to him emotionally, he spins back to look at you. A look of accusation on his face. I thought you were alone.
Well, you never actually checked. And actually, with the things that have been going on, I'm grateful that someone's out here to look out for me. You better come and meet them. Come on. God knows what they've done to your house.
So
Eugene,
I'll be in the hallway with a crate when you like.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Eugene steps into the parlor where you guys have been arguing, presuming that JD had been in the room with you. That's the idea, that you guys were in the room, and she follows him in. Warren has stepped back towards the fireplace. as he's now outnumbered.
Okay, I'm gonna dump the crate down on a table or whatever.
Eugene, oh, you genius! Where did you find this?
Wait, this isn't the first time I've seen this stuff. This stuff was in your brother's apartment when me and Nat went there.
Right.
So
well, that makes sense.
No, but since we've
because
been
it's his
there,
stuff.
He's been and fetched it.
Well, and he probably got a call from the landlord or something, because like somebody went and wrecked the room that my brother was living in. Right, excellent. She'll start going through
more than whatever he's
yes,
told me,
I know he knows more. Just let me deal with him a minute. She goes through, and what books, like
okay.
she literally starts sorting. So art supplies like one side,
okay.
all the sketches and sketchbooks the other, and then the other books.
I mean, your hand pulls one of the books out straight away. Your connection to art history studies is something that draws you straight to this piece of art commentary on South American cultural art styles. The use of, and I don't have a title to reel off the top of my mind, but the topic is the use of certain traditional medicines in paint mixtures, and the use of semi-hypnotic iconography and pattern weaving inside traditional art, and how it was used to induce trances, hallucinations, and those sorts of things within artwork. But the most interesting and poignant point for us to finish on tonight is when you flick to the front of the library card in the front of the book. There are a list of people that have had this book, then Warren, and then Ernest.
Warren, you've got some explaining to do.
That's where we'll stop for tonight. Probably ignoring what Warren picked up from the fireplace, possibly hinting at where we're going to be at the start of the next session, which I'm afraid will be in 2 weeks' time, as I am unavailable next Tuesday. But hopefully, guys, you've had a good session tonight. Good fun for all. Progressed the plot significantly, leaving us with intrigue, interest, and the elements to follow up on the next session. Thank you to everybody that's been watching and commenting, because even if we haven't incorporated all your ideas tonight, I will, as I've run this many times before, I will run this many times again, and some of your suggestions are going to be in future editions of this story. Spoilers. And then I'm really hopeful whoever plays this next doesn't watch this, which is contradictory, I know. I've had great fun tonight. Thank you very much. And again, my usual sign off. If you're watching this on View on Demand, rewind for the viewers after you show some concern and consideration. If I can hand over to Helen to do our weekly catch up for what's coming in the next week, as if I do it, I might jinx it, but if she does it, at least I didn't jinx it.
Great, thanks for that. So if you are new to Chaotic Neutral, then welcome. And if you've joined our particular brand of chaos, then please come and join us on our Discord, where we chat about many things, including the use of cheesecake as a metaphor in GM decisions. Very interesting read. That's that. If you want to catch up on previous episodes of the Pallid Man Triptych, maybe there's things you want to go back and review, like, did that happen? What have they missed out? Quite a lot, probably. Then please go to our YouTube channel. All the links for those are down below us. Coming up this week on Thursday at 8 PM, we have Cloudgate, Mage the Ascension. There has the the cabal has been infiltrated by the enemy and there are now consequences to deal with. That's basically my thing. On Friday is the Benefactor, back after their week's break. We're on 140. Yeah, I should have looked after yesterday, to be honest. But that's our homebrew 5e D&D long running campaign, sort of heading towards a conclusion, I believe. Not sure how quick, which brings me to Monday, which, you know, maybe, possibly, don't want to jinx it, but could be the last episode of Numenera Odyssey, and that's on Monday at 8 p.m. As Mike said, we're not here next week. Pallid Triptych will be back in 2 weeks, which will be the 28th. We will do a raid. I think Simon will sort that out for us. Thank you very much, Simon, for producing, by the way. And otherwise, we will see you next when we see you. Thank you very much for watching. Good evening. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.